presented a lot of challenges, to say the least. How have you responded to that challenge?
Sure, my name's Brian Chasnoff, and I'm an investigative reporter at the paper. I mean, I feel like I have a responsibility to cover stories where the public interest is at stake, and maybe the actions of elected officials or city staff, public officials run counter to the public interest. There's sort of two things going on at the same time. I mean, as you're reporting and writing, you want to craft a readable story that simply someone's going to enjoy reading when they wake up in the morning and open the paper with a cup of coffee. But then, of course, there's so much more than just trying to entertain the reader. You're trying to give them information that they can use to make sure that they're well informed. And over the past year, it's really taken on this sort of urgency. Through the winter storm, a lot of people lost power and water during that week, and I was one of them. At the same time, I was reporting with a colleague, the response to the situation. And one piece of news that I got that I found interesting that we put into our Sunday story that weekend was that early in the crisis, CPS Energy cut power to a San Antonio water system pump station without informing SAWS. I was told this by the CEO of SAWS, Robert Puente. And so that's just an example of how if a source is authoritative, someone who definitely would know this, then that increases our confidence that it's accurate even in the chaos of the moment. But even then, after Puente relayed that anecdote to me, there was something about the timing that didn't quite add up to me, because there was questions, which pump stations went down when, because later SAWS agreed to allow CPS Energy to cut power to pump stations. And so the timeline of events as the disaster is unfolding is very important to the accuracy of what happened, because decisions are being made, mistakes are being made, and my job as a reporter is to be 100% accurate about who made the mistake when, was it a mistake. If accusations are flying around about someone messed up, then the timeline has to be accurate there, because it really helps tell the story. So it's the reporting process, it's making sure that not only your sources are authoritative and backed up by documents sometimes as well, but also making sure that the narrative makes logical sense and that everything lines up in terms of the timing. The reporting plays a role in that too, because it's about accountability after the fact. Sometimes, things can get glossed over. If there's something that's happening that runs counter to the public interest, where it impacts a lot of people who live in San Antonio, I feel like my first responsibility is to expose that and provide explanations and interviews to really illustrate why something matters. Hopefully it makes the city a better place in the long run, a safer place, somewhere that has a higher quality of life for its residents and for the families who live here.